up guys, it's Blake and today I'm going to be doing a guitar tutorial for Pressure by Paramore off their album All We Know Is Falling. So to start off, this is a very repetitive song, at least rhythmically. A lot of the parts just follow the same pattern throughout the entire thing. So I hope you enjoy this, and if you get confused with anything, there's a cover linked in the description below that you can check out that'll hopefully contextualize anything you're having an issue with. So let's just jump into this lesson. There are 4 individual parts in this. We have an intro and pre-bridge, a verse, a pre-chorus, and a chorus. So we're going to be covering both the lead and rhythm guitar in this section. We're going to go through the rhythm guitar first and then jump into the lead guitar. So to start off, this song is in drop D, so it's going to be standard all the way down, but your first string is going to be dropped a full step from E to D. And so I'm just going to be going over the tone I'm going to be using in this video. To start off, I'm just using a Les Paul with humbuckers in the bridge. I would recommend doing something like that for your guitar, and into a crunch channel of an amp. So it's pretty basic. It sounds like this. And then just to add a little more flavor to that, I'm just going to add a Ibanez tube screamer over the top. Just gain turned all the way down, level turned all the way up. It's going to add a little brightness and bring out a lot of the high end, and it's going to sound like this. So let's jump into the intro for the rhythm guitar. The entirety of the rhythm guitar part is going to be based around around power chords in the key of D. So basically the only frets we're going to be using throughout this entire song are open strings, 4th fret, 5th fret, and 9th fret. So the verse strumming pattern is going to sound like this up to speed. So the basic rhythm is going to be 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's going to sound like this. I like to use downstrokes for this personally, but you could do upstrokes if you want to do it. So the progression we're going to be using here is going to be 9, 0, 5, 0. And if you can get the rhythm down for one of these, you can get the rhythm down for all of them. So it's going to start off on the 9th fret, and it's going to go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's going to jump to an open string, and it's going to do the same exact rhythm. It's going to jump to the 5th fret, same thing again, and then open again. And so you're just going to want to make sure you're articulating those rests in between those notes so it sounds as clean as possible. So let's jump into what the lead guitar is going to do in that section, and fast it's going to sound like this. So this section is going to be using octave leads, so you're going to want to use your 1st fret on the A string and your pinky or ring finger, whatever you feel most comfortable with, on the 4th string. And you're going to want to mute both the 5th, 6th, and 3rd strings with your index finger so you don't get any of open strings in there and you get just dead notes if you decide to strum through it like this instead of. Yeah, you don't want that to be going through. So there are 3 unique passes in this little section, and the 1st and 3rd are alike. The 2nd and 4th are different. So the 1st and 3rd are going to be based around the 9th fret, and you're going to want to slide to the 7th fret. And this uses all the same rhythmic values that rhythm part is doing as well. So it's going to be that same. So the 1st and 3rd passes are going to start on the 9th fret, and you're going to want to hit that once. And then after that rest, you're going to hit it twice, and then slide down to the 7th fret. So it's going to sound like this. So the way I find this to be most efficient and most smooth is to only strum 4 times in total on these 5 notes. So you're going to want to strum twice on the 9s, slide to the 7th, let that ring for an 8th note, and then strum twice again. And you can pretty much repeat that same strumming idea for pretty much every single lead in this section. So slow again is going to sound like this. And that's a pretty easy little thing to figure out. So we're going to move on to the 2nd section, which is going to start around the 12th fret. Same thing, same pretty much values are constant, but you're going to be sliding down to the 9th fret instead. So it's going to sound like this. And again, you'll see there how I only strummed 4 times on those lead parts as I was sliding down, using that slide as an extra note. So now we're going to move on to the 3rd one. 3rd one's the same thing, 9 to 7. And then the last pass is going to be 4 to 5 in the same exact way. So it's going to sound like this. So to put it all together slow, it's going to sound like this. So very simple. Let's move on to the verse now. So in the verse, there's only one part, and that's going to be the rhythm guitar. So this is, again, is going to use all power chords, and it's going to all follow the same rhythm. So the progression is going to go 9, 5, open, and 4. So up to speed, it's gonna sound like. It's very simple. You're gonna wanna make sure to count out those rests again, like you did in that intro. So you're gonna wanna hit the 9th fret twice and make sure to palm mute that and get a nice chunky palm mute in there. So you don't wanna press too down, you don't wanna lift up too much, you just wanna get a nice middle ground. So it's gonna sound like this. And then you're gonna wanna rest half a measure. So that first is technically only 1 quarter note. So you're gonna wanna rest twice as long as that. And then use another quarter note in that 9th to slide down to your next chord change. So it's gonna sound like this, slow. And when you hit that 9 again to slide down, you're not gonna wanna palm mute that. You're gonna wanna let that ring out so you can really translate that power into the next sequence. And you really wanna nail those transitions because that's really where the flow of the song comes in. So again, slow, it's gonna go 9 to 5, 5 to open, open to 4, repeat, rinse, do whatever. So slow, again, gonna sound like this. So that's very simple. Let's move on to the pre-chorus now. So this is gonna follow the same exact progression as the verse, that 9, 5, 0, 4, like so. But instead we're just gonna flip up the rhythm on the rhythm guitar for this one. So instead our rhythm's gonna be, so it's gonna sound like this with those changes. So again, same thing, we're just gonna do it slow now. I like to go down, 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 up, down. So just slow on the 9th fret, we're gonna do it. If you can understand the verse, you can understand this part easily as well. So we're just gonna move on into the lead guitar for this one. So the lead guitar is gonna follow the same exact rhythm as the rhythm guitar. We're just gonna change up the notes. So this one all takes place on the 4th and 5th string at the 7th fret. So every single bar in this one is completely different in a way. So we're gonna wanna place our ring finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string and our pinky on the 7th fret of the 5th string. And we're just using that finger position to make our transitions easier to different notes in the future when we need them. So the first bar is gonna follow the same exact note or pattern. We're just not gonna move anything. We're just gonna keep that same rhythm. So it's gonna sound like this. And so for the second bar, we're going to drop the 7th fret on the 5th string, and we're going to turn that into a note on the 5th fret on the 5th string. So this is why we use the pinky here, so we can just lift it up and go to either your pointer finger or your middle finger. So that transition is going to sound like this, and again, you're going to keep that same rhythm in that second bar. And then you're going to want to repeat that second bar again. We're just going to do the same thing. We're going to keep it going. We're just going to keep tacking on parts. So here's what it's going to sound like. And then for the last bar, we're going to drop from the 7th fret on the 4th string to the 6th fret on the 4th string. Where it's going to be a good idea to use your middle finger for that part. You're going to want to hit those 2 notes twice, like this. Here kind of comes a trickier part, I guess. After you hit those 5th and 6th twice, you're going to slide from the 6th fret to the 7th fret on the 4th string, and then you're going to hit the 5th fret on the 6th string, and then the 7th fret again on the 4th string. So it's going to sound, that little phrase is going to sound like this. And that entire bar together will sound like this. And that's all you need to know for the pre-chorus on the lead part of this section, because it just repeats again after that. So we're gonna go through the lead section fully real quick. So let's move on to the chorus. The chorus for the rhythm guitar is probably the easiest thing you're gonna be doing in this song, because it's just straight 8th notes between a progression, for the most part at least. So the progressions are gonna go 5, open, 4, and 5 again. The only caveat is we're going to throw in a quick one of these at the end of that little phrase. So I'm going to play through it fast really quick so you get the general idea of what we're going for. So we're going to start on the 5th fret and just strum through that for the full bar 8th notes. And then open, full bar, 8th notes again. 4th fret, same thing. And then the last time we're going to strum 4 times on that 5th fret power chord, and then we're going to move up to the 9th fret and use that same octave lead, but this time we're gonna bend it a half step between the two notes. So that last bar is gonna sound like this. So let's piece that entire thing together pretty slow again. So remember, it's gonna be 5th fret, open, 4th fret, 5th fret, and then halfway through bend. And that's the first half of the chorus, and lucky for you, the second half of the chorus is even easier because you're just strumming through that last 5th fret all the way through. Instead of 4, you're going 8. So that's pretty much the chorus. So let's move on to the lead guitar. Okay, this is by far my favorite part of this song. So I like to use my bridge pickup for this one because it gives it a more smooth sound, at least. So we're gonna go way up here to start. So the first thing I would highly encourage you to get down is the string pattern we're gonna use. So again, this is very constant rhythmically. So the string pattern is going to go 4th, 5th, 4th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 5th. So it's gonna sound like this. And this is all gonna take place between the 14th and 17th frets. So our first pass, which is probably the easiest one to get down, is going to be 16 on the 4th string, 15 on the 5th string, and 17 on the 6th string. So remember that string pattern, 4th, 5th, 4th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 5th. And you just have to pick those notes out, let them ring, and you want to build up that chord. So let's go over it slow now. So we're gonna go 16th fret, so slow, we're gonna pick through it. So in this, I like to use my ring finger on the 4th string, my middle finger on the 5th string, and pinky on the 6th string, because it makes switching into the next two chords a lot easier. So for the second pass in the chorus, we're going to lift our 16th fret on the 4th string and put our index finger down on the 14th fret on our 4th string. And we're gonna keep that same exact picking pattern and that same exact rhythm. So slow, it's gonna sound like this. So remember, you wanna use ring finger, middle, pinky for these frets. And you're gonna wanna coordinate it for a fret, a finger. And just remember, you don't have to move your ring and pinky for this first transition. You just gotta lift up your ring and put down your pinky finger, and put down your index finger, my bad. So the transition's gonna sound like this. So for this next little phrase, we're gonna do basically the same thing, but instead of doing it on the 4th string, we're gonna do it on the 5th string. And this is probably another pretty easy one because you don't even have to move any fingers. You just have to lift off on your middle finger from the 15th and bar down the 4th and 5th strings on the 14th fret with your index finger. So instead of playing 14-15, you're gonna play 14-14. Now we're gonna pick through that from the second phrase to the third phrase. And so now for the 4th time through on this little bar, we're going to go back to the first chord we did, that's 16, 15, 17. But we're gonna change it up a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit different. So it's gonna sound like this. And that's gonna coordinate with that 9/11 that we did on the rhythm guitar. So it's gonna be a nice harmonization part. So for this one, this is where the picking pattern gets changed. We're gonna go 4th string, 5th string, 4th string, 5th string, and then 6th string with that bend. So it's gonna be like this. So slow, it's gonna sound like this. So now let's play through the entire chorus lead part slow. So now let's do it fast, how it's actually gonna sound in the song. And that's pretty much all you're gonna need to know to learn this song. And that's gonna be it for this lesson. Please make sure to hit the like button below if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more guitar lessons. And again, there's gonna be a cover link in the description below with everything you need to know to learn this song and hopefully contextualize it for everything. So thank you so much for watching.